Wednesday, March the 20th. Thanks for hanging around here and everything. We'll go through this as quickly as possible, but some good news. We got some congressional matches that we have going on that basically just turn into real live money for West Virginia in lots of different ways. But we're rolling out really $1.1 million in matching funds that are going to make a real difference throughout all of our different communities and everything. And these matching dollars turn into significantly more dollars, when the Fed money comes and everything. But I'm just going to go through just a few of them. But to give you an idea, there'll be $500,000 that will go into the Shady Springs Public Service District area and everything. Good stuff, really good stuff there. There's $2 million that's going to go towards in Glen Morgan, a wastewater treatment plant, and just jumping down through these, 93,000 will help kickstart a water system rehabilitation expansion project, and I think that's in Alderson. In the Berkeley Springs area, there's, that we're going to be able to hand over $500,000 to help the Bunker Hill water main line upgrades. All this totals, spends into $3.75 million, but it's good stuff, and a lot of different areas across our state, really good. We've got the last shipment of elk that have come. 23 more, are coming to Logan County this evening, and the really neat thing about it is, we've had, that we can announce that we have recorded 60 new elk calf babies and everything, and since we launched the program in 2016, so we got 60 new babies plus all the others that are running around, and that's great stuff. I've got to confess, I do not know what this fish looks like. It's coming from the Ohio River. Most all my fishing has been in trout streams throughout all West Virginia and everything, a little bit in the rivers, but this is called a bowfin, and a beautiful lady from Letart, caught this fish and everything. Her name is Lauren Noble. The fish she caught weighed 10.6 pounds. It was 30.2 inches long. And Lauren, surpassed the record before, but basically what it tells us, this record was set in 2006, and I can see it's a beautiful fish and everything, but absolutely, Lauren, way to go. All of this just leads everyone to West Virginia as a premier destination to enjoy our outdoors, especially our fishing. But way to go, Lauren. Great stuff. Okay, the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs is going to have their Business Expo. This year it's going to be at the Ransom Civic Center in the Eastern Panhandle. I urge you to get your tickets and go. A lot of great stuff, but more than anything, whether it be educational materials or speakers or whatever it may be, you will really, really enjoy advancing your education and everything in regard to all these issues. And so Jill Upson, I say this all the time, but what a job Jill's done as the executive director. And so just keep doing the good stuff, and get your tickets. Now we've fixed 52,601 potholes. I mean, it's hard to imagine. I mean, really and truly, I was telling somebody yesterday, we were driving along and everything, and I said, can you imagine we fixed 42,000 potholes in this state? Well, it's almost like, there can't be any more. But really and truly, I know there's still a bunch more. That's 4,929 miles of road and everything. We launched a program called Rest in Peace Potholes and everything, and we're after it. And the weather has given us the opportunity to get the proper asphalt and everything, and we're going to stay after it until we get them all. USA Today 10 Best Reader's Choice nominations. You know, I've told you this many times, but please go online. All you've got to do is go to USA Today, their website, and cast your ballot for 3 nominees that are all in West Virginia: Berkeley Springs, Lewisburg, and Fairmont. Please go on and see this, and you'll see Best Historic Small Town, Berkeley Springs; Best Small Town Food Scene, Lewisburg; and Best Small Town in the South, Fairmont. So go on and vote for us. Please vote for us. It'll be really meaningful to us. And the last thing is, here's the NCAA brackets. Every year I fill out one for me, and Baby Dog fills out one for her, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do that in just a little while and everything, and then we'll post it and everything, and you'll see our choices at that time. Nevertheless, that's all I've got as far as stuff, and we're looking for the questions now.
All right, thanks, Governor. We'll go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young from WV News. Governor, I know last week you said you were now looking at April for a special session, but this morning I talked to Speaker Roger Hanshaw, and he said lawmakers are still planning on May for the special session. I was wondering if you have spoken to the legislative leaders about that? Thank you.
Charles, we're in constant contact with them and everything, but listen, Charles, I have not, I don't think I came out and said, we're going to do this in April. In all honesty, I really still believe that April is a real possibility, but all I'm telling you is between now and June 30, at some point in time, we're going to bring everybody back in special session. We're going to surely work with the leadership and everyone. But at the same time, there are issues that we have that would be very difficult to address by bringing them back later, and that wouldn't be good, because we couldn't get it done. We could not address the issues that need addressed, and that is primarily this situation, with DHR. Or DHS, but nevertheless, we have got to address all those situations, because we got our most needy folks that we could really end up really hurting. And so we got to get all that straightened out. We'll do it sometime in the period, and I lean more toward the sooner the better.
All right, thanks, Charles. Next to Rachel Pellegrino with WOWK.
Hi, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Rachel with 13 News. I first wanted to ask for your response on the vaccination exemption bill for non-traditional public schools. I know the Kanawha-Charleston Health Department has asked you to veto it. But secondly, I also wanted to ask you about concerns over poor ambulance response times throughout West Virginia, but specifically in Mingo and Wayne counties, where I've actually spoken with a few families that have told me that they lost loved ones because of the issue. Now, in relation to this, I kind of wanted to hear your response on it, but also, do you think EMS funding specifically for staffing and operations could be a potential topic for a special session?
Well, Rachel, I appreciate your questions and everything. As far as what we would call maybe the vaccination bill and everything, we haven't gotten it yet. We're still waiting on that, and we did get the unemployment bill yesterday and everything. We're reviewing, but give us time to get it at least. From my standpoint, we've talked about this before and everything, but we're semi-bombarded with exactly what you're saying, that's coming, from the standpoint of, I am all for, and you saw it. You saw it in all the times that I was, addressing you with COVID issues. I said a million times, I want to be respectful to everyone's freedoms. I still want to do exactly that. But we've also got to protect all of us. I mean, that's all there is to it. And so we'll get to it, and we'll get to it real soon, but we got to get the bill first. Now, the other thing is this: you mentioned Wayne County, and Mingo. And I want to tell you, we absolutely are continuing to work with those folks. They're trying to get it, to where the voters can vote. We're looking at even maybe, trying to solicit some kind of help from the AG to bridge the period between now and when we get a vote. But really, Rachel, it's not that we're not working on this, but we cannot solve all the county's issues. That's all there is to it. And so we're trying to work it out, and we're trying to get through it and everything, and we're trying to absolutely be aware of just how important and how vital those services are. From the standpoint of the possibility of putting it on the call and maybe able to, may be able to work something that works better for everybody on the call, that's a real possibility too. And Rachel, I don't know if there was anything else, but I think I got it all.
All right, thanks, Rachel. Next, we'll go to Tanner Gill-Martin with WDTV.
Hi, Governor Justice Tanner Gill-Martin, 5 News. In the last month, nearly 600 manufacturing jobs have been lost in WVU due to businesses closing down. What has the state been doing to ensure West Virginia remains competitive in manufacturing, and what is being done for these employees?
It's Taylor, is that correct? Is that right?
Tanner,
okay, I'm sorry. Tanner, understand this. First of all, the state can't be your brother's keeper on every economic development thing that's going on within the state. Most of these companies are privately held companies, and there's all kinds of factors that come and go. Now, with all that being said, I can tell you just this, that just in the last couple of days, we have been approached by folks that are coming in, I think maybe next Tuesday, and on an economic development project that would be huge for the state of West Virginia. Over and over and over, we're bringing folks, and to be perfectly honest, I just hate to say it this way, but you will have companies that fade away. Now, we're trying with all in us, with Allegheny Hardwoods or with manufacturing sites like Cleveland Cliffs and all that kind of stuff. We're trying with all in us to rejuvenate either talks with somebody else or the possibility of maybe reconsideration by the people that decided, no, we're going to have to close this and everything. So there's ongoing stuff all the time, and I guess at the end of the day, if what we do is continue to climb, we're going to have some that we lose, and hopefully we've got a whole lot more winners than we do have losses.
All right, thanks, Tanner. Next to Randy Yohe with West Virginia Public Broadcasting.
Hey, good afternoon, Governor. Good afternoon, everyone. Governor, as to the upcoming primary, your run for the U.S. Senate, we reported earlier this week on another justice-holding lawsuit that's come to light. My question is, will your continuing legal and financial entanglements affect your ability to serve in the Senate? And what should voters think? And I do have a follow-up question.
Okay, well, Randy, listen, all I can say is just this. When I don't say this braggadociously at all, but when I walked in the door, I know, we all know, our state was bankrupt. That's all there is to it. I have kept my focus 1,000,000,000% on West Virginia. Our businesses continue to move right along and do quite well. There's a lot of folks that want to throw rocks and do whatever it may be, but some way, somehow, our businesses continue to move right along. I'm really blessed with a beautiful daughter and a great son that absolutely have done, I'd like to say think that, well, maybe I could have done a little better, but at the same time, maybe I couldn't have. I think they've done really well. They continue to do well. We continue to pay the bills and do everything and keep the lights on and employ thousands and thousands of people. I don't know why we should occupy ourselves with that. I would say, judge me by my deeds. And that's all there is to it. Look at West Virginia today. West Virginia is absolutely, really, really moving and doing it in a great way. And we're going to continue to do that. From the standpoint of going to the Senate, you know, to be perfectly honest, I don't think that this will be a distraction in any way at all. None. And if I did, you know, I wouldn't do it. I mean, why am I doing it? Randy, why am I doing it? Am I doing it for me? I mean, are you kidding me? At the end of the day, the only reason in the world that I absolutely decided to run for governor, the only reason in the world that I've absolutely decided to run for the Senate is nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with any of my businesses, nothing to do with me in any way. I just want to serve and to try to help, and that's exactly what I've done as your governor. Now, please tell me the other question.
All right. A U.S. Senator needs to show up on time. You'll have debates, you'll have votes, you'll have committee meetings. Governor, you're often late for things. These briefings, you're an hour late today. Public events. What do you tell voters who have concerns about your time management?
Well, Randy, I can tell you that if there's a vote that has to be made and it has to be made at a specific time for some way, somehow, I always make it. And really and truly, you know, I had our folks notify you guys that we're going to be a little late today, but you know, Randy, I guess the bottom line is, you know, we all may have a little shortcoming. I apologize all the time for the fact if we're late, and but I do think the wins surely outnumber the losses.
All right, thanks, Randy. Next is Stephen Allen Adams with Ogden Newspapers.
Yeah, Stephen Adams with Ogden Newspapers here. Was wondering if you could shine a little bit more light or give us a little bit more context on the veto of House Bill 5014. That's the bill that would have provided some funding, additional funding to the Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute. I know that was a big, important bill to House Speaker Roger Hanshaw. There does seem to be kind of surprised that it was vetoed. I think your letter had said that the language of the bill was ambiguous. It seemed pretty clear what it did. Can you shine some more light on that, please? Thank you.
Steve, let me cut this phone off just 1 second. I didn't realize I had it in my pocket. Take that telephone. The net of the whole thing, the way I see it, Stephen, is just this, is we did a bunch of things for a few, and we left out an awful lot of our hospitals all across the state. You know, when we call everybody back in, everything will be on the table to be able to put it back together. But in this situation, I didn't want a few to be neglected, you know, but when we call everybody back in, we'll put it all back together, you know, and I proposed $100 million in my deal for all the hospitals, and we just kind of went out and just picked a couple of winners and everything. Well, when we call everybody back in, they'll be back in the equation, and we'll work through all the stuff, and then I think we'll come to a better resolution of looking at everybody instead of just looking at a few.
All right, thanks, Stephen. Next to Brad McElhenney with West Virginia Metro News.
Hi, Governor. Good afternoon. Governor, the State Tax Department, which is an agency in the Justice Administration, has filed 7 liens totaling $3.5 million for unremitted sales taxes from last August to November at the Greenbrier Resort. Do you think the owner of the Greenbrier should pay those taxes to the state? Thank you.
Well, Brad, if that be the case, without any question, the owner of the Greenbrier should pay the taxes. I mean, you know, I really don't know anything about this at all. This one I don't know a thing in the world about. It's brand new news to me, but I'll check it out.
All right, thanks, Brad. Governor, back to you.
Okay. Let me just check here real quick and everything, and see if there's anything else I'd like to mention. But I again remind you about the great job that Jill Upson is doing, and I urge you to sign up and to go in the Eastern Panhandle. I want you to vote for our cities, Berkeley Springs, Lewisburg, and Fairmont with USA Today. And last thing is I just say just this. It's easy. It's really, really easy, to sit back and look for just anything to throw a rock at somebody. Absolutely. From the standpoint of any personal stuff that we may have in our families build an empire of stuff and employs lots and lots of people. And I'm really, really proud of what they've done, especially proud of Jay and Jill and how they're looking after things. At the end of the day, it all seems to work out, doesn't it? Well, for crying out loud, then why in the world do we go through all this worry and all these distractions, all this kind of stuff? At the end of the day, I have always kept my eye on the ball. It's West Virginia. That's what I do. That's what I do every single day. And that's what I'm going to continue to do because I love our state and I always refer to our voters as Toby and Edith, but I want goodness for Toby and Edith, and I've delivered there. If the distractions were a problem, we wouldn't have had anything close to the successes. So with all that being said, I don't know why we occupy time, with distractions, and whether it be me or anyone, I hate what's going on right today with President Trump, and I hate it badly. And there's a lot of similarities. He's got people that are really pushing on him from the standpoint of what he's doing and running for election as our next president. And I believe he's going to be our next president, and I'm really happy about that. From my standpoint, just maybe if I would have decided I'm not even going to think about running for another office and everything, maybe life would have been a lot simpler for me. With all that being said, I don't choose that. President Trump doesn't choose that. From the standpoint of what's going on with a bank that we've done business with, I would say just think about this just for a second. And that is this. For 20 years, the founder of the bank and I had the greatest relationship on the planet, and I gave the eulogy at his funeral. The greatest relationship in the world, and now it just flipped 180 degrees. Well, why is that? What happened? What in the world happened? How could you go from the perfect relationship to a hostile relationship in the next day? How could that have possibly happened? Probably there's some underlying reason that is driving this whole boat. And I can assure you that when everything comes out, you're going to sit back and say just exactly what I've already said. Why did we occupy time with that? Why did we do that? At the end of the day, my job is West Virginia. My job is your governor. That's what I do, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.